Here's a little something interesting some of you may know and others may not. I'm going to play a note C, and I'm looking at it on the oscilloscope. Now the square wave that I get out of Xeon, I'm filtering it right now. Let's turn the filter off. Right, the square wave that I get out of Xeon is typical of analog synthesizers. It's not quite square on top, and for this demonstration I really want it to be square. So what I'm doing here is clipping it and then boosting the gain a little bit so that I get something that actually looks like a square wave on the top. Now this has these it's kind of ringing things that are going on. Let's pause that. It has this this discontinuity which causes some ringing in the filter we're using to oversample the display. And that's something that will happen when you go through the digital to analog converter. So you're actually going to hear this when you listen to this. To remove that, I'm going to filter. Yeah, if I low pass a little bit, you're not going to see that so much. Well, that makes me wonder. It makes me wonder if that ringing wasn't actually part of Xeon's oversampling feature. Anyway, wherever it came from, it's gone now. So we have what appears to be a flat square wave. Now the interesting thing I want to show you is what happens when we remove bass frequencies from this. Let's turn the volume down so that you can hear my voice. Okay, so I'm going to take a low shelf filter and I'm going to start removing the bass. What I want you to notice is that as I cut bass, the peak level of this wave in the oscilloscope actually goes up, not down. So here we go, cutting bass. And what you see now is that, let's close this EQ, is that with the EQ out, let's pause this. With the EQ out, the average volume level of this square wave is higher. When you put the EQ back in, pause again, the majority of the wave, this part and this part, have gone closer to zero, but there's this little spike at the beginning. So what this means is that if you have, especially when you're dealing with a square wave, you can have a situation where your peak level is within a certain limit. Like if you're trying not to clip, you can see, oh, okay, I'm not clipping. And you see the peak, yeah, this is really interesting actually, seeing it on this graph. So right now, the green is the, oh, you can't see that. I gotta turn the camera up a little bit. There we go. Now you can see it. So the level meter here in AUM, the green part indicates the RMS level, and the white part is the peak level. And we're seeing that the RMS level and the peak level for the square wave are equal to each other. But when I put the filter in, it's not square anymore, and now the peak is almost 12 dB above the RMS level. So this is just to say that you can have a situation where you have a square wave coming in or some other type of wave coming in, and you've set the level so it stays within bounds, and then you put a filter on it that is supposed to be cutting the level down, and you can find that this actually causes clipping. And the reason it's causing clipping is because you've changed the shape of the wave. The perceived volume is lower, the RMS power is lower, because I'm cutting, I'm not boosting, right? So the overall perceived volume is going to get lower, but when we look at the peak level, that really depends on how the wave is shaped, and it's possible that you can get these wave shapes where the peak is actually going up even though you are cutting the volume down. So that's what I wanted to show you, and we'll end the video here. If you like this kind of stuff, hit subscribe so that next time we do a video, you can see it in your YouTube feed, or if you're following us on Facebook, like our Facebook page. See you next time.